What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Engineers Out Filters podcast, episode 118. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson, and guess what? Still drinking Oberon, baby. This proves I'm not an alcoholic, okay? Because I've had the same goddamn beer for like a month, which means I haven't bought beer in like a month, which means I'm emotionally stable.
How big was the pack?
How that works
I
necessarily.
think it was a 12er,
Okay.
maybe an
That's
18.
not-
I can't remember. It's like the box.
I
Can't
mean,
remember
the
the 12 or
boxes come
18.
in varying sizes, so.
Yeah, but like,
I think it's usually 12.
yeah, I think it's a 12er.
Okay. That's
I
not
only
bad.
got like 2 left, but I don't run to alcohol to solve my problems, okay?
Oh my god. The fact that you're like
Whoa.
trying to make a statement about it tells me that you're thinking about it in the back
Am
of
I
your head.
am I hiding something else with my pain? Who knows? But
That's what I'm getting from that.
Well, I'm not like Jacob, and I do use alcohol to hide my problems. And I have a new beer tonight, and it's a fan favorite of ours. New Holland's Tangerine Space
Ooh,
Machine,
baby.
Good
baby! Fuck, and it's so good.
And that new logo. Granted, I kind of
Yeah,
miss the
new-
old can.
Yeah, a little bit, but I like this cleaner, more
I like
simplistic
it.
design.
Yeah, but the old can
It's
was
got
more
little-
orange. That's more of a yellowy.
The camera's not picking it up well.
Okay.
It's got little spaceships because it's the space machine and little citruses on the side.
Mhm.
It's
One.
still as good as I remember. It's not the same, opening a can is not the same as having an $8 stein of
Oh, yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
But it is still very tasty. So
It's always a good time. I'm Gabe, and I am drinking the PBR because I have 24 pack of these. These are pints, by the way. The 24 pack of them, I'm still working through them, but I think I'll probably have to resupply by next week, so get to see something different. So
Yeah, hopefully when I get back from my trip next week, I'll have something a little different. But maybe I'll pick up some Minneapolis beer.
ooh,
mm,
we should do that.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. So this is the week that Dayton's gone. We're on the rotation. Next week I'll be gone. So we got the three. I don't know. We have a name for the three of us. The three amigos. It's the dumbest thing I could think of.
That's so bad.
I'll say the three Minnesota boys because you guys are in Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota. Dayton has no
No connection.
Yeah.
he's visited Minnesota a couple times.
Yeah, but I live in Minnesota with Joseph for a year. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I lived
we're the
with
Minnesota
Gabe for a
boys.
year.
The Minnesota boys.
As always, you can find our show on podcast services and YouTube on Monday mornings. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at ewfpodcast and go ahead and follow us on Twitch at ewf_podcast. Yeah, apologies in advance. I'm a little frazzled this week. I'm trying to manage everything Dayton normally does plus what I normally do. So hopefully everything comes out okay. I think it will, but you never know.
Hopefully it's not like that stream where we gotta win and then realize the audio was muted.
We played for an hour and then we realized the audio had been muted the entire time.
That's
This
so
goes
funny.
to show we need more people watching us on Twitch to tell us in the chat when shit goes wrong. So
Oh my
fucking
God.
watch us on
Yeah,
Twitch.
blame the viewers.
I blame
Yeah,
the viewers. I
Blame the audience. That's a good one. Yeah, that'll keep them.
Let's start off this episode with what we've been doing the past few episodes, which is weekly anecdotes/updates. Joseph, you can go first. Tell me about your trip going home.
Yeah, so I went home for like 4 or 5 days. It was pretty nice. It was good to see my nieces and nephews. It's been since Labor Day, so pretty much the entire winter since the end of last summer. So it's been a hot minute since I've seen them. It was fun. No major issues getting there or coming back, which was nice. It's a pretty smooth drive. It was weird. So I don't know if the twins were old enough when you were visiting Jacob, but previously, so I have two.
Previously on the Grand Champ family.
Yeah, so I got a twin niece and nephew, right? So boy and girl, but they're twins. And previously the girl did not like adult men, like just other than her dad, like me, My two brothers-in-law, so her other uncles. I don't even think she really liked my dad that much. Like maybe a little bit just because like he saw her more.
Yeah.
And then the boy was a lot more friendly and a lot more like outgoing. So I'm walking, into this expecting the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they walk in the door and they both walk in at the same time. And the boy stops, stares at me, hides behind the wall, and the girl runs up and goes, Uncle Joseph! And I was like, whoa, hold on. This is not at all what I expected. I expected the, complete opposite.
The old switcheroo.
So yeah, huh?
The old switcheroo.
It was, and it shocked me. And I guess, my other brothers-in-law kind of said, like, yeah, she's definitely opened up a lot more, and he's kind of become more reserved. So it wasn't just a me thing, but it was still like, shocking, and it was cool to see, growth of, I guess kind of both of them. So, other than that, I had my nephew Calvin ask me if I was a boy because I have long hair now. He asked me a lot of weird questions. I mean, he's gonna be shit. Sister's gonna kill me. She just told me. I think he's turning 5 here in a month.
Damn.
Or in end of July. Shoot, she just.
You're in trouble, Uncle Joseph. You can't remember your favorite nephew's birthday?
It's either end of July or early July. I think it's.
Is it close to 4th of July?
No, I think it's the end of July. I think it's like the 29th or the 30th. Either way. So he's gonna be starting school, but he first asked me if I was a boy, and then later on he asked me if I had any sisters. And I was like, well, Calvin, your mother is my sister. And I don't think he quite understood it. Which is like, granted, like that's, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of this weird adult guy that hangs around sometimes. And
he doesn't really know you're related.
Yeah, and I can, I mean, obviously not remember that exact, but I remember growing up, like, when I realized, oh, this is the like, the aunt and uncle, but like that's the one that's related to my mom, and the other one's like not related other than by marriage, and like getting used to that.
Like grandparents are a little easier to remember, I guess.
Yeah, but like, yeah. So I can totally understand it. It was still just funny, like from an adult's perspective. Do you have any siblings? Yeah, your mom, kid. Like, why do you think I'm here?
You Dumbo baby.
Exactly.
You just show up from time to time at a random family.
Yeah. I went golfing and I got sunburnt, even though it was like 40 degrees and I was freezing the entire time. It was sunny, so like I shouldn't be surprised. But
I mean, you haven't been outside in many moons. At least not outside as much as you normally are.
Exactly. So it was just one of those like, oh, it's cold, I don't need sunscreen, but I know that that's not how that works, but I just didn't think of it. So I already got sunburnt first time this year, so that's good. I think.
How was your golf game? Because I'm gonna try to golf when I'm home too, and it's been a minute.
I won money, so
you didn't answer. You dodged the question.
I think that means I won $10. I think that speaks for itself of how I did.
Or how bad your family is.
Yeah, so there's like a running bet that my dad and his friend do, which is on any par 3. For people that golf, this isn't going to mean a whole lot. But for any par 3, if you make it on the green and you make par, they have a $2 bet going. So each of them keeps a $2 bill, or they always have $2 bills, and like it's kind of one of those, they just pass this $2 bill kind of back and forth. So it's a $2 bet. So if you make it on, you get, you make it on and make par.
Yeah.
And, we're pretty lax golfers. So like, you don't have to make it in the cup or in the hole every time. Like if it's not like hold on, like there's gimmies, right? So if you're within a couple inches, it's like, okay, take a stroke and that you made it in.
Okay,
like,
fair. Okay.
There's no reason to like putt out it's just gonna take so much more time.
I thought you mean like you like putt it next to the hole and you're like, good enough, like, that counts, as opposed to like taking an extra stroke. Okay.
Yeah, but you take the stroke to
gotcha.
get it in, so you can't do that on like for like clutch, like times, like if you're shooting 1 under or like par or like something like that, we're not gonna do that. And especially for money, like if we're betting for money, they're not gonna give it to me.
Yeah.
So I made it in, and that was the best hole that I shot was even, and I did really bad for the rest of the game. But it was also too cold and a little early in the morning. The beer cart wasn't out, so I didn't
Oh,
even.
that's a bummer.
I only had one beer the entire game. I was a little disappointed, but I won money, so.
All right, I like it.
Nice.
Gabe, you were also gone this last weekend.
Yeah, I went and saw our fellow podcaster Dayton Pax in Groton, Connecticut. I'm just gonna dox him. His address is. I'm just kidding. No, it was really fun. Just to get out of the cities and go and see him. Did some running. Did my first trail run. With Dayton. That was pretty good. After drinking, it was pretty fun.
Classic Dayton.
Yeah. Did some biking on his bike. I sent a sketchy drop on his bicycle. That I wasn't super comfortable on, but hey, I'm still here. And then did some hiking. I really like the little like park that he's next to. It's really cool.
Bluff Point.
And you've been there, yeah?
Yeah.
It's very cool, quaint, very like craggy. Lots of
Does get
lots of
that
rocks.
ocean or water smell at certain points.
It
I'm not a big
does.
fan of, but that's everything near
Mhm.
body of water.
It's funny because it's exactly what I expected it to be. Like I
Yeah.
pictured like in New England, like town on the ocean, like the buildings being the specific way. Like it was exactly how I pictured it. But it was fun, and we got. Oh, go ahead.
I would say it's funny because when you were talking about it the other day, you're like, yeah, I really felt like New England being out there, and it's just funny because like it's not like a super nice town, you know, like it's
No, it's not.
And this having having been to other states in New England, that same summer, yeah, it's not like the nicest New England, like rich New England town you might think of, but it's still like on the water and stuff. So
yeah, it kind of reminded me of Los Alamos a little bit, where like all the people that like Dayton hung out with worked at the same place.
Yeah,
like it was like that town existed because of that company, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone fucking works at Electric Boat.
Yeah, but it was fun. He's got a bunch of friends out there. He's replaced us pretty much entirely. But like we had like a bonfire on the ocean with a bunch of his friends, and he got so fucking drunk. It was so fun to see him. Like I don't know. Sometimes you miss drunk Dayton, and it's just funny to like. At one point, we were like, I was talking to some of his friends, and I don't know how it came up naturally. Also, okay, for reference, I was pretty drunk too, but it naturally came up in the conversation about ass tats. I was like, "Oh, have you seen Dayton's?" And then like half of them were like, "What did you say?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's got an ass tat." And I'm like, "Dayton, show him your ass tat." And he pulls down the wrong cheek. And then he's like, "Oh, it's on the other one." And then like shows everybody. It's just funny. Yeah. Just to see him
smelling salt, apparently.
Yeah, he like just would take a whiff of smelling salts to stay awake. Yeah, it's just funny to see the chaos. He hasn't changed in that regard, and his friends are cool, and
yeah,
it's fun.
Chaos incarnate.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I'm glad. My end, my week was not as fun. I got my second COVID shot on Tuesday, which obviously is good news, but I was expecting to not feel great, and by like Tuesday night I was getting like the sensitive all over, ache all over. You guys know what I'm talking about?
I didn't have that, but yeah,
that feeling, and like the chills a little bit. I'm like, yes, to be expected, But also on Tuesday night I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna feel like not great tomorrow, so I want to give myself a haircut and trim my beard up, because like it's not gonna feel good if I'm sick, and I've been procrastinating on it for a long time, so I want to just get it done, right? Like, do everything, cut my hair, trim my beard, all it. It's I like doing it at home because it's free and like it's not that hard, but it's just a lot to clean up and everything. But anyway, so usually take a shower after to get all the extra hair off. And I go take a shower and I turn the shower on, and it is just not warm at all. Like it is like fucking freezing cold, right? And I'm like, so I don't talk about the podcast before. My shower is kind of weird, where like it never gets super hot. Like it feels like I should be able to turn the temperature dial farther than I actually can. Like it gets warm, but it never gets like scalding hot, which is what I want,
You want like skin damage.
Yeah, but like tonight, but that night it was like not even close to like warm, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why is the shower fucking me right now? Like, it was like 10:30 p.m. I just wanted a goddamn hot shower before I went to bed and get this like loose hair off me, and I couldn't take it 'cause it never warmed up. So like, I literally had to like shoot the shower head straight down. I got in there and like bowled the water in my hands and like
Oh my god.
sprayed it out because it was so fucking cold. And like, I think I was like already kind of warm from like the side effects coming on. So like, it felt colder than I probably was because my body temperature was higher. So it was just a nightmare, right? So I barely took a shower, like just enough to kind of get some stuff off me, but I was so pissed off, right? Wake up the next morning, it basically felt more or less the same, you know, maybe a little bit better, but I still had the achy all over. So like, and I was already planning not to go into work that day, whatever. And I go to like wash my hands, and it's not getting hot at all. I'm just like, oh shit, there's no hot water in my entire apartment. This is great. So I email maintenance and I'm like, hey, so there's no hot water, I think from like starting last night, which I didn't realize at the time. I thought it was my shower being weird. Like, there's no hot water anywhere. So this is fun. And the guy eventually comes in the afternoon and he's like, I think the breaker flipped for your water heater. And we, you know, open it up, reset it. He starts walking away. It flips right again immediately. He's like, yeah, your water is super old. We need to replace it. Well, we can do that tomorrow morning. Okay, that's fine. I understand these things take time. So like, no shower on Wednesday. But also before he left, he was like, you know, if you would have told us last night, we could have done it this morning. It's like, okay, I don't need to know that. Fuck off. All right, get out of here.
Yeah.
You don't need to rub salt in the wound, right? So then today, say it's Thursday, I was feeling fine today. You know, it's a 1 day thing. Eventually, the maintenance guy comes at like, 10. Like, all right, I'm gonna go fix it. He had to like flip the breaker again and turn the water on, whatever. Fix it, great. Come back in at like 12:30. It was all fixed. And he's like, all right, just give that 2 or 3 hours to warm up. Like, 2 or 3 hours? I want a hot shower now, bitch. I haven't showered in fucking days. I was supposed to go
You
into
just
work
said
today.
earlier, you're like, I know these things take time, and then it gets faced.
I'm like,
2 more hours.
I'm like, I know it'll take like 3 hours just to like do the actual replacement. I think it was gonna take more time after it was done to actually for the water to heat up. I don't know how water heaters work. Okay, I'm not a handyman.
Yeah, it's the tank that's gotta fill up. It's gotta light, and there's a lot of steps.
Well, I
Unless
wasn't
it's a
happy.
tankless, and then you're golden. But I doubt they put a tankless in.
In any case, I didn't get to take a shower until like 3:30, which, you know, then it was fine and whatever. But it's like, why am I fucking sick and my water heater's broken the same goddamn day? Like, of fucking course, right? So that was my week. But the biggest development that happened lately, which I don't think I've told either of you about yet, is end of last week I finally broke and I downloaded TikTok.
Oh, god damn it, Jacob!
Addicted.
I'm so addicted. It's bad. It is bad. I'm spending too much goddamn time in this app, dude. Like hours a day. It's okay. I blame Lissa. Okay, I blame my friend Lissa because she broke and downloaded it a few weeks ago. Okay, and she was raving about it, about how she's like, it's making me a better person. I'm learning about so much about like these like political stuff and not really life hacky stuff, but like just other points of view and entertainment. And like there was a lot of guys doing analysis of Falcon Winter Soldier stuff. I'm like, all right. I'll maybe download it once I finish my classes, right? And I finished my classes, and I was bored and lonely because everyone's fucking going to see their parents or going to see Dayton in Connecticut, right? No one was fucking around this weekend, so I downloaded TikTok.
You gotta take along, man.
No, I couldn't have. I don't got that kind of cash. Anyway, so I downloaded it, and I tell you what, this app is fantastic. All right, I'm spending so much time on there, and the problem is, Joseph, it's the endless scroll. I mean, you've seen it. Your girlfriend's
That's
on all
every
the time.
social media ever, dude.
No, because Twitter, you get to the point where it's like, okay, I've seen these tweets before. Reddit's kind of an endless scroll, but Instagram, there's a stopping point unless you go like Discover tab, which I never do. But like TikTok is literally endless.
You can just keep scrolling, and it'll just show you like
other stuff. But I don't care about Instagram people. It's not as
bad.
engaging.
Yeah.
With TikTok, it's like it's videos, right? So it's like if YouTube. It's like YouTube recommendations, but they click on the video for you, so you're already in. You know, you don't have to like decide.
I mean, it's like Vine, you know.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic and horrible all at the same time because like I'm really having a great time on there, but it's eating up hours of my day because I can't stop.
That's disgusting.
Oh my guy.
Yeah, I need to set some digital well-being limits on it because it is. Yeah, but like I'm in like cool stuff. Like I got into like, you know, science TikTok with like Hank Green, which I fucking love Hank Green, you know, the Crash Course guy, a bunch of stuff. I got into Beyblade TikTok somehow, like competitive Beyblading. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like I didn't even know this was a thing. But I started following this dude who like breaks down like the different parts of Beyblades and like the different types of Beyblades, and it's so cool. It's such a nostalgia trip. Animal TikTok, learning animal facts. Like Joseph, I learned about crows being smart, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
They're pretty scary. Sketch comedy, of course, is great. A lot of like dating app shit, which is I follow a group who like this roasts guys' profiles for just being fucking stupid on dating apps, which is pretty funny. I'm having a great time. So if you're out there, fucking download TikTok. Okay, it's great. Just be careful about how much time you spend on it.
It also can read your keyboard, your clipboard. So anything you copy and paste, it can see that. There's a lot of shit it can like look.
Oh yeah, literally, I was listening to a
stealing
podcast
all your
today.
data.
I was listening to a podcast today, like on speaker, and they're talking about Rubik's cubes. And then the next time I went on TikTok, I got Rubik's cube solving videos.
Yeah, literally, Alyssa's told me she's gotten ultralight backpacking videos because of me. Because I just talk about like I say UL and I talk about camping and shit around her. Like that's literally it, and it fucking shows her all these videos now.
But Joseph, I guarantee if you guys both downloaded it, you'd be addicted too. I guarantee.
That's what I'm afraid of.
I'm not gonna download it then.
Okay.
I don't need another thing.
I gotta show you this one dude when I come out there, though. This one dude, just his humor reminds me of Max, and it just warms my heart. It's like Max has a specific sense of humor. I think you guys get a kick out of him.
I don't know, man. I'm losing a little bit of respect.
What do you want me to do? Okay, I'm in my apartment alone. Everyone's fucking gone.
Look at that piano behind you. What about that?
I haven't been doing as good with the piano lately. Okay, I need to, but that's only like 30 minutes a day max.
I mean, TikTok is more than 30 minutes. They just play more.
They're supposed to.
Why not?
That'll tire out your fingies.
But what if you're having fun?
I did have fun trying to figure out the Zelda Lost Woods theme the other day. I randomly played the first 3 notes. I was just sitting at piano like fucking around. I randomly played the first 3 notes of the Zelda Lost Woods, that dun 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 dun. So I played the first 3 notes. I was like, wait a second, I know this song. And then I just like figured out the rest of the notes. It took me like 10 minutes. And then I looked it up. I'm like, I was fucking right. Like I looked at the sheet music and I like nailed it. I'm like, this feels great. Yeah, I need to get back on the piano. It's hard. I don't know. I need some more accountability on it.
I think it's more of a slow burn, like it's definitely not as instantly gratifying as like TikTok, I got a new, it's almost a song. I got a new song that I started writing, and it's really fucking cool, but it's like, it takes so long to figure it out, like for me to like base it out and like write it and I don't know, make it sound the way I want it to in my head.
When you say you're writing a song, are you writing chord progressions or a melody or both?
Well, so like I have this software, so it's like right now I just like wrote the intro to something, so it like starts off and then like I have a second guitar, which is still me, but like harmonizing with it. Then it goes into like a main riff, like an actual like chorus.
Okay.
And then I'll probably add a bridge and maybe like a couple verse riffs, like do A B type of a song structure.
Right.
It's fun to figure out, but it's pretty time consuming, and sometimes it's not very rewarding because you like fuck up recording it by one note. You're like, fuck, it's not where I want it. Play it again, and then you start to hate the song that you wrote, and it's just I don't know. But it's fun at the like when you actually finish it. It just takes so long to get there,
Oh yeah, it's pretty interesting. I can't imagine myself writing songs on piano anytime soon, just because I don't listen to like piano music. I just think of like classical. And obviously with like piano, I mean, you could just record, I guess, like you're saying, like record like a bass line and then a higher and then a melody or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I say song pretty loosely. It's all guitar right now. Like I've written in quotes like 2 songs for like a YouTube video that I made for like the snowboarding video that I did when I went to Jackson Hole, and I like found like a backing drum track and like played on top of that. But I don't know. It's definitely challenging, but it's fun.
Yeah. All right. So this episode's freeform. All right, we're just talking about random shit. I need to talk about anime for a second, okay? So haters, get out of here. Dayton was giving me fucking shit yesterday, and because he's not here, I'm gonna talk about him. Okay.
Because he can't defend himself.
He can't defend himself.
Exactly.
So yesterday we have like a group chat, obviously on Snapchat. I put in a group chat a video of me watching One Piece, and I'm like back on my bullshit because I started rewatching a parts of One Piece. They make me feel good. Okay, Joseph, sue me. You know, it's a great show.
You watching that little bit, like me saying that, I was like, that kind of like threw me a little bit back to living in the apartment and like when I'd like on and off watch it with you. Like,
Yeah,
that was fun. It was a good time.
and like I'm watching back in like the 300s. Like I've seen this shit in like close to a year.
Yeah.
That's how time works, I think. Like it's I remember the big plot points, but I don't remember every little thing that happens.
Yeah.
And I could start a new show, but like I know exactly what One Piece is. I know it makes me feel good. Yada yada yada. So I'll put in the chat, back my bullshit, rewatching One Piece. Dayton replies, okay? Because if you don't know, Dayton and I watched Naruto recently, so I watched it pretty quick. Dayton's like been watching it very slowly, and I skip all the filler in Naruto, and Dayton's watching every single episode, so all the filler. And I'll explain what filler is in a second. But I'm back my bullshit. One Piece. Dayton replies, SMH will rewatch One Piece, but won't watch Naruto filler, and then complain about the poor character development in Naruto. And I just have so many issues with that fucking argument, okay? So let me break it down for y'all, okay? So what filler is, I'm trying to think of the average person that's ever seen a filler episode.
It's
I
filler.
feel like all shows have it.
All like
Literally,
cartoons.
Like any sitcom has it too. Like there's definitely episodes they try and hit their episode count for the season.
Right.
It's
so
an episode that doesn't get anywhere really. Like,
yeah, I'll talk about it in terms of anime. So in anime, there's a show, there's a plot right through the show. A story plot where things progress the story and move the characters forward. However, an anime is usually based on manga, which is like comics, right? Normally, an anime literally just uses the manga and like word for word adapts that into the anime. So like if a character says a line in the comic, in the manga, they say that exact same line in the anime, right? So they essentially just like a blueprint for how to make the anime. But sometimes when they're making the anime, they are catching up to the manga too fast, and there's not enough material. Because if they get past the manga, they'll have nothing else to write. Kind of like what happened to Game of Thrones in the final season, where there weren't enough books, so they had to just make up shit, right? And nobody wants that. So what they do is they make filler, quote unquote, filler episodes, which are episodes that are like just fun little like side stories that do not move forward the plot at all. They're just like side missions. If you think of video games, they don't push through the plot at all, right? So they're just filler episodes. They're just there to fill up time until the manga can get farther, right? I don't like watching filler episodes for the reason that they're not written by the creator of the manga. They're not written by the writer or the creator of the actual series. They're written by the director of the team of the anime, but they're not really related to the writer of the original story, right? And because they can't progress the plot because they don't know what the plot is or they're trying to save time. However, the end of the plot has to be exactly the same after the filler arc. So, for example, here's an example from fucking Naruto, okay? 3 characters in Naruto that are important. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. At the end of this certain story arc, Sasuke's in the hospital, right? He gets fucked up, he's in the hospital. Then there's a filler arc. Sasuke gets out of the hospital, they go on a little adventure, but guess what? When the plot picks back up, he has to be in the hospital. So while they have this little adventure, oh no, he got hurt again, he's back in the hospital, so that when you pick back up on the main story, he's still in the hospital. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like the filler arc can't change the status quo because it didn't actually happen because it wasn't in the original story. So anything that happens doesn't fucking matter. So that's why I don't watch it. Cause I'm like, it might be fun to watch. Like it might be a fun little like comedy thing or it might be enjoyable, but it's not actually the plot. It's not the original creator making it. So I don't personally care about it. And Joseph, we talked about before the podcast, sometimes with anime, there's like a filler movie or just like a fun movie that's like not actually canon. And that's different to me because if I'm going to watch that, I'm like sitting down and choosing to watch that movie. Like
yeah, it's not like just the next episode versus it's
yeah, it's like I'm making this conscious decision. I want to have fun with these characters. Let's go watch this fun filler movie. Whereas in anime, they don't tell you it's filler. It's like if you're watching it week to week, it's not like there's a warning or like a little note at the beginning. It's like, hey, guess what? This is filler. You're just thrown into it. Granted, now like these days, you can just look up which episodes are filler, and you can just dodge the ones you want to dodge. All this is to say is I don't watch filler because I think it's a waste of time. Like Naruto's 500 fucking episodes. It's a long ass show. Granted, I've done those. One Piece is 900 episodes, but I still want to get through it as fast as possible, so I'm gonna skip the goddamn filler.
Does One Piece have filler?
Very little. There are like a few filler arcs that are like 7 episodes. There'll sometimes be like one filler episode in the middle, and you'll know. I skipped the One Piece filler as well, but you can honestly watch it because there's just so like of almost 1,000 episodes, less than like 150 I think are filler. So it's super low filler percentage.
Low percentage.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to this thing with Dayton giving me shit, okay? Because his argument is like, oh, you didn't watch the filler, and then you complained about the lack of character development. Because one of my gripes with Naruto is I don't like the characters. I don't like how they progress in the story. I don't always like the directions the characters go. And Dayton's argument is like, oh, well, if you would have spent more time with them during the filler, you would have liked them more and understood their journey. You would have seen more development. But here's what I say to Dayton. The development that happens in filler episodes doesn't exist. Okay? Because it happens in a filler arc. The status quo is exactly the same at the beginning of the filler arc and the end of the filler arc. This character development was not in the original series. Therefore, it doesn't have anything to do with where the characters eventually go. It didn't happen.
Yeah, it's like if you read the manga, you're spending the same amount of time, or like you're getting the same stories, the same emotions that you would if you're skipping the filler arc.
Yeah.
You know? So like, to say that there's more development without it, it's not necessarily true development, you know?
You might have more like enjoyment with the characters, but it's written by a different person. Like it's not the original creator's story. It'd be like Gabe. You remember the Hateful Eight? Like Quentin Tarantino. God damn.
You haven't seen Hateful Eight? I love the Hateful Eight.
It's broken up in chapters, right, Joseph? Remember that quick? It's like chapter 1, 2, 3.
Most Tarantino's are, yeah.
Yeah, this would be like if you went to go see the Hateful Eight, which has 8 chapters, right? And say you watch 4. There's like, okay, chapter 1, boom. You finish chapter 4, all right? And then Tarantino's like, I need some more time to finish this movie. Michael Bay, can you come in and just direct 2 chapters in the middle? Same characters, same setting, but this is not going to be relevant to the story at all. It's just a fun little side thing that doesn't actually matter. Michael Bay's like, yeah, sure. And it's like the same characters, and they're written like pretty close, but like again, you can't really change anything because then you come back and Tarantino's like, oh, I got the last 4 chapters here. Mm-hmm. If I was watching the movie, I'd fucking skip those middle 2 chapters because it's not Tarantino's story.
Yeah.
So Dayton, fuck you.
I mean, you could argue that kind of happened with what is it? Star Trek I think did it, but the most recent Star Wars movies were like
with Rian Johnson coming in.
Well, Rian Johnson did the second one, but didn't J.J. Abrams do the first and the third of that trilogy?
Yeah.
So like you could argue, it'd be a bad argument, but you could argue that movie's filler, right?
Unfortunately,
they're similar where like, you know, it's like just the storytelling aspects of them are very different between the.
I wish it was filler.
Yeah. I think it's not that bad of a movie. I know a lot of people don't like that stance, but I don't think it's that bad. I think it's pretty good.
It's one of the worst ones for sure.
I think no one can argue with Joseph that if JJ had directed all 3, it would have been more cohesive of a story.
Yes.
Right. That like Ryan coming in just kind of messed up kind of the flow of it, everything. And like I think it's not. I want to be clear. I have no issue with people watching filler. If you want to watch filler, enjoy it and be my guest. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I just don't think the argument is valid of like I would have liked the character development more if I watched filler because like this is not true. But you know, I think Dayton and I watch shows for different purposes. I'll talk about Naruto specifically because Naruto's kind of a special case. Like Dayton is watching the show to like enjoy it, have fun, laugh.
Well, he has nostalgia for it.
And he has nostalgia for it.
He watched it as a kid or when he was growing up.
Totally fine. I watch Naruto to watch it. Like I feel like I need to have watched it in order to talk about it and like criticize it and like rank it along with other shows. And I watched it to see the story the original creator intended. I didn't watch it to maximize my enjoyment. I was there to see what the story for what it was, and for that reason, the filler doesn't factor into that at all. Like if the original creator of the show didn't write the filler, then I don't care about it. If I like wanted to sit down and like, hey, I like the characters. Let's if I want to specifically sit down and watch this filler to have fun, that's a different thing. Like when I was watching it, I'm like, I want to see the specific story the specific person wanted to tell. You know.
So, have you seen any of the filler from it?
I watched like an episode or two of it. Maybe I started watching one that was like a comedy episode, and it just like felt so different that it was like throwing me off. Like it, like
See, that was my question. Could you tell? Like,
yeah.
would I mean, obviously, if you haven't seen all of it, like, there's no real way to say. But like, without knowing that it is filler, could you have picked out that it was different and
Yeah,
like?
and actually
like
happened in One Piece. When I was first watching it, I didn't watch it with a filler list because I didn't really
Yeah.
at the time I was super conscious of it. But I got to a point where I'm like, this is bad. And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that's because it's filler. Like the original writer of One Piece is just very, very good. And
Yeah.
nothing against like the writers of the filler episodes. Like they did what they had to do. Like it's done out of necessity more than anything. But I was like, this doesn't feel like Oda wrote it. And I looked up like, oh yeah, he didn't. Like this just feels off. Like it definitely has a different vibe, I think.
Okay.
And in my opinion, the worst times it happens is when like you're in the middle of like this massive like battle, and they're like, "Oh shit, we need to fill time." So they put in like there's a filler arc in Naruto. It's like 25 episodes, and then it's like doing this big battle. Okay, cut away for a second. 25 episodes of filler arc. Okay, now we're back, and it's just like do it when story arcs end. Don't do it in the middle of a story arc, you know, because it's just infuriating.
Bad planning.
Yeah. Also say if you like filler, I'm not mad at you. I just think the argument that it improves character development is just not valid because it doesn't affect the original story at all.
You could argue it's not the true characters in the filler episode, right?
Right. It's someone's interpretation, someone else's interpretation on the characters, which is fine. It's just not what I'm looking for. I want to see the original writers kind of their story. So yeah, sorry for that rant, but I need to get that off my chest while Dayton wasn't here to, interrupt me and argue me. Better to argue when your opponent is gone.
Sure.
He can reply next week when I'm gone. How about that? He can.
Yeah, he probably will. It'll just be like some weird one-sided argument that like doesn't end.
we
until,
never like fight about it in person.
Yeah, and then like when you guys are both like we're all back, then you guys are just gonna fucking lay into each other.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into our main topic of the evening. So Gabe,
with 20 minutes left.
you kind of mentioned this is kind of like another part of last week's show, which I agree with. So I kind of want to talk about rom-coms and kind of how they affect you. And I'm talking as a single person. So I'm coming into this. You guys remember back when we lived together, there was one point where I watched like a lot of rom-coms back to back.
I remember that specifically.
And I gotta tell you, if you're out there and you're single, don't fucking watch rom-coms because they will brainwash you. They will make you think that you live in a world where like, oh yeah, I'm just one meet cute away from finding this special person, and all of these relationships follow a very specific formula, and it's easy, and things will just happen to me. I don't have to make a change myself, is what I'm getting.
If you drop your books in high school, some cute boy is gonna pick them up, and you're gonna start dating people. That's what I've learned from rom-com.
And like, there is something to be said about the argument of like you'll find love when you're not looking for it, but you shouldn't expect zero effort from you to result in a super hot woman, wanting to date you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of sprung from me watching an anime last week, 2 weeks ago now. That was a rom-com-y type anime. And I've watched these anime before, Joseph, all right? They follow a very specific formula. And I wanted to watch this because I heard somebody say, oh, it's a fun little 12-episode romp. And I'm like, I'm down for a fun little 12-episode rom-com. Fuck this show, okay? Fuck this show. Because it just grinded my fucking gears, Joseph. Because the main character is a piece of shit. Okay, he does not deserve any of these. He ends up having like 4 girls go after him in this show. He deserves none of them. He is an absolute piece of garbage guy, and all the girls are fucking insane for liking him. But basically, he's like this freshman in college, virgin, which they make a point of a lot, and he jerks off a lot, which is a big point apparently. And
sounds like hentai.
They don't actually show anything. and he was dating this girl for a month, and then she broke up with him, and he's like destroyed by it. I'm like, dude, it was a month, but okay. He's destroyed by it. So he goes on his phone and he sees this app where you can rent a girlfriend, where you pay like $50 an hour, and this girl will pretend to be your girlfriend. He's like, okay, I'm lonely, I'll do this. And like in and of itself, that's a fine premise for a show. Whatever, I'm not hating it. It's not like she's a prostitute. It's like literally just like paying to go on a date with a girl who like will pretend to like you. Goes on a date with this girl and has a good time, and then he like goes on Reddit to like see, like he like looks her up, and all the other guys who like have gone on a date with her are talking about it, and like, oh yeah, she held my hand right at the end. He's like, wait, she held my hand right at the end. That was all part of our game. She was just playing me. It's like, yeah, dude, you fucking paid for it. It was a service you paid for. So then he like he pays for another date with her, and he just like yells at her for like being fake, and it's like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? Like, you literally paid for this. That was the point.
Some nice guy shit.
Things happen in the middle of the date. His like, he gets a call from his family. His grandma got like fell down, so they have to go to the hospital, and the girl comes with him because he still had time on the clock with her, and ends up having to introduce this girl to his family as his actual girlfriend. So then she gets involved in his life, and then turns out they're neighbors, yada yada yada, and they have to pretend they're actually dating throughout the show. That's kind of the premise. But anyway, you can see that like they're starting to like actually fall for each other, but I'm like, I don't fucking buy it, dude. This dude's a piece of shit. Like, he's super wimpy. He has no redeeming qualities. This girl is way out of his fucking league, all right? She's smart. She's beautiful. She's, you know, not even close to this dude. And then other things happen. The show, these other girls come in, and they're in love with him for no goddamn reason. And I just got so mad, Joseph, you know? Because I'm like, this dude does not deserve this. And then at the end, he like confesses he loves her, but then like takes it back. And then they don't actually end up together, and there's like, oh, wait for season 2. I'm like, season 2? I thought it was a 12 episode thing. I'm in and out. Now I got fucking blue balls at the end. I'm like, I wanted to at least see the resolution of like them getting together, just because it's a fucking show. That's what I expect to see, and it didn't happen, and I was so angry. But then I was thinking, like, why am I angry? And Gabe, it goes back to you were talking to last week of, I'm not angry at the show. I'm angry at myself for getting so goddamn invested in this stupid shit.
Yeah.
And so what I'm getting at here is, don't fucking watch rom-coms if you're single, because it'll piss you off.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing like with the reality shows, though, right? Where it's like, it's always hyper inflated for entertainment, you know, to the point where it's just not realistic, you know? Also, I mean, it's an anime, so like, how realistic can it be? But
I know. And like, it's a trope.
There's some true to life anime.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
like slice of life, but like, it's always that
slice of life.
fucking trope in anime where the guy and the girl never fucking get together or kiss. Like, think about like Pokemon back in the day with like Ash and whatever girl was in that
EST.
season.
Well,
And there was always like the kind of that tension, but the guy's always oblivious, right? Like, Ash is always fucking oblivious, and it never fucking happens because it's like anime and like Japanese culture or whatever. And it's like not satisfying, you know? Because like you kind of want it to happen, but also it's about Pokemon, so you kind of want it to be about Pokemon. But it's like, so it's like, don't do both, you know? Like, don't tease me. That's the thing with animes. They're teasing you fucking constantly. It's like either let it happen or not, okay? I don't like this middle ground shit.
teasing your Pokeballs.
Exactly, Gabe. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I guess I was just curious on your guys' take on rom-coms. I think they're a fine genre. I enjoy watching them, but I think watching too many of them, especially when you're single, is not ideal.
I think when you marathon rom-coms, was it junior or senior year?
I think it was senior year, yeah.
Was not a pro-life move.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's definitely a place for rom-coms. I have, you know, a handful that I really enjoy and I go back to every once in a while. Realizing that they're not, you know, there's, you know, it gives you a little bit of hope, or like, you know, like, oh, maybe, you know, this is how relationships can work, and it's generally not, you know, there's more effort than they, you know, they show, and, you know, all that stuff. But I think they can still be fun movies. Like a lot of things in small doses, in an adequate, you know, amount.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and they all follow the same exact plot progression, right?
Yeah.
Boy meets girl, they start kind of like each other. Oh no, big crisis, and then they end up together.
There's always
every
the
fucking
fallout.
time.
There's always the fallout.
And it's always a miscommunication.
Yeah. And it's like some secret, or like, I don't know, It's not what it looks like.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly, dude.
I think my biggest issue with them is just like always how the people meet. Like you kind of alluded to before. It's not you can't just do nothing and expect people like walk up to you and be like, hey, let's date. Like that just never works ever. I
Yeah.
mean, it was in
Have
my
you tried it?
experience. I mean, I've been in public for 23 years and it hasn't worked. So, all right, it's worked a couple times, I guess. Like people have approached me, but it's like I don't know. It's super rare as a guy, anyways. But I don't know. I feel like it's just so unrealistic, right? Like the people will just like show up and like, hey, I love you, and it's like you don't know anything about me, man. And then
And I want to make a
They don't need to
point.
know anything about you, Gabe. They just know.
yeah, I don't know. It feels so fake, but like you were saying, like sometimes you get invested in them, and it's like you hate that you're invested in it. And it's just like this relationship is so fucking manufactured, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I want to make a point because you brought up the word unrealistic, and sometimes people, I don't know these people, sometimes people will be like, oh, you don't like that, but you like Marvel movies? Those are so unrealistic. Okay, first of all, Marvel
It's a different
movies,
kind of unrealism.
any type of fantasy sci, any type of movie like that is realistic for the world they set up. Like within the confines of that world, everything makes sense. And these rom-coms, they're supposed to be set in our real world, and that's why it feels unrealistic. So I'm like, this would never happen in real life, but they're pretending it's real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why isn't there like a rom-com in space and like they meet doing some dumb shit? Like,
I mean, that probably exists, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of part of it, because what was happening reason I was getting angry watching the show, it was like, if I was in this situation, I wouldn't have fucked it up so bad like this kid did. But I'm like, why am I pretending I'd be in the situation? This is so like this would not happen. But they're making it feel like it could, and I feel like the show was very much targeted at these lonely, single otaku is like the Japanese term, like shut-in guy, virgin guys. And again, I'm talking about myself. Maybe they're targeted at these certain type of guys, for and it like I'm worried it like make them believe like, oh, if I just stalk this girl a whole day, which happens in the show. If I stalk this girl a whole day and she finds out, she won't get that mad at me. She'll be like, oh, that's creepy, and then be totally fine. I'm like, that wouldn't fucking happen. I'm just worried it's sending the wrong messages to these people who are susceptible to that. But they do it anyway because they know it'll make money if it's, if they have this target audience or whatever.
Well, and I also think like it kind of like the realistic, quote unquote realistic ones, like again, you're not like a lot of them aren't even putting any effort into like how they meet or like the relationship itself. It's just like that's not how relationships work, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But all that being said, it is like satisfying to watch people like fall in love, right? Even if it isn't real. Like one of my favorite rom-coms as a Netflix original one called Set It Up. You guys have watched this? But it's about these two, guy and a girl, who both have like really horrible like bosses. They work in the same building, and then they scheme like, oh, if we get our bosses to date, then they won't be so mad. They like scheming to hook them up, but then
I think you told me about this before.
It's a great movie, okay? But then they are actually the ones who get together. No one could have seen that coming. But
I feel like you could have, but
it has a good amount of calm. I feel like some rom-coms aren't lacking enough calm. You know what I mean? Like too much rom, not enough calm, or not enough of both sometimes. But you need a healthy dose of calm.
I also feel like rom-coms are very heavy on the physical humor.
Yeah. Well, it's easy, right? Easier.
I mean, I think it goes hand in hand with like romantic like comedy. Like it makes sense, but it's just like sometimes like it isn't funny. I don't know.
I think the best rom-com I've seen so far is I Love You, Man. And
what a fucking great movie.
What a fantastic movie.
Is that even considered a rom-com, though?
I would call it a rom-com.
Gabe, you would love this movie. Okay,
I haven't seen it.
You've seen it?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Yeah, let me break it down for you. Paul Rudd, Jason Segel, forming a bromance. Because what happened? I'm sorry, I back up. The plot is Paul Rudd is getting married to his fiance, right? But he has like no guy friends. Like he'll hang out with her and like all of her girlfriends, but he doesn't have any like guy friends, which I'm like, this would never happen. Paul fucking Rudd. But anyway, and she's like, you need to like some guy friends.
Because he needs like a best man.
And exactly.
That's the whole point is that he needs groomsmen and a best man for the wedding.
Yes. Thank you, Joseph. And then he ends up meeting Jason Segel at like a open house because I think, is he a realtor? I think he's a realtor.
No, he's not a realtor. He goes to the open houses to like for free food.
No, that's what
is
Jason
it was.
Segel does. That's what Jason Segel does. That's how he meets him.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Paul
oh.
Rudd is a realtor, or he like
Oh.
sets up the houses anyway.
I don't
Yeah.
think he was setting up the house though. I think I
They're
don't
at
know.
an open house. Jason
Yeah.
Segel only comes for the free food. He pretends to be interested, but he just like eats the food. And Paul Rudd starts talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, that's funny or whatever." And they
And they make fun of other couples there and like trying to
and they kind of start to strike up this bromance. And they love Rush. They go to a Rush concert. They start like jamming in the garage or whatever. And it's a great fucking movie. Okay, and there's a bit of crisis as usual. But it's just fantastic. That's what I want rom-coms to be. More bromance rom-coms. Because that's like, yeah, I could use a friend, but also, Joseph, you can't get friends that way as easily, you know?
Yeah. Just go to more open houses and just for the food. Maybe you'll meet someone cool.
But highly recommend that one, Gabe. That's a great fucking time. You can't not love Paul Rudd and Jason Segel.
Also, I think my favorite line from a movie comes from that one where someone tells a bad joke and the other character says, "Despite that joke, I still want to be your friend." And I feel like that's my life because I tell bad jokes a lot, but I still have friends. So
somehow
you weren't doing it in the mean way.
I thought you were doing it to me. Yeah.
No, like you guys say that to me a lot.
all my jokes are bangers. What are you talking about?
Gabe, do you have any rom-coms that you like?
I don't know why, but the only one I can never like think of is like Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I think is what it is.
Another Jason Segel,
which is also Jason Segel. That's like the only one I can think of, and I remember being like kind of funny.
Mila Kunis is in that one too, right?
I don't.
I watched that one during my binge, but I hardly remember anything about it.
I honestly, it's been so long since I've seen one. Because what happens is I end up watching them when I like come back to visit because my mom fucking loves rom-coms. So then I get more invested than I'd like to admit, and then just kind of watch them, I guess, haphazardly.
The Hallmark Channel ones are just, I mean.
Oh, I can't stand those. Like any of the, I mean, Christmas time is miserable when she's got the remote. I mean, that's more like actual just no com.
It's the most cookie cutter shit of all time, and yet.
And the thing is, they always brag about like pumping out new ones, and it's just like, what are you gonna do different? Like, what's gonna change?
You've done the same exact plot like 400 times.
It's rich white guy, small town.
Yep.
Either the guy or the girl's from small town. They get together, and then there's always like a physical comedy again, where like someone trips or falls and like whoa, and then like hold each other and they have the weird eye contact. It's the same shit. I can't fucking stand it.
It's heartwarming, Gabe.
It's not. And then sometimes Santa's just randomly there for like no fucking reason. I don't know. No calm. All wrong.
Not enough calm. But the problem, see, these shows, Gabe, as someone who's never been in a relationship, it gives me mixed signals. I'm like, wait a second, how much of this is real and how much of this isn't? Like, how much should I expect for this to be in an actual relationship, you know? And it fucks me up. That's why I can't watch this shit. And that's why I'm on TikToks. I'm seeing real, quote unquote, real people. Are they making shit up? Probably.
I feel like
seeing
so
real
much
people
of
in
it
real relationships, you know?
Even on TikTok, it's so produced. It's so manufactured, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're only showing you the parts they want to show you. Right?
It's not as bad as dating shows, though.
No, but no. I feel like all that stuff, you're hyperinflating it for entertainment, right? So, like, it's going to come off like not authentic, you know? Yeah. But then you get people who, like, want it to be that way. They want it, you know, like, you want it to be as perfect as it is in the show or the movie or whatever it may be, and it's just not. It's not how life works, man. You know?
No.
Man.
Because I have also stumbled on the cute couple TikTok because they got me pegged, okay? And I saw one today that was like this dude was like taking a shit in the bathroom, and like his wife like sends in like a note, like, what is this? She's like, having a good poop, yes or no? He's like, no. Sends it back. She's like, you want some comfort? And he's like, sure. Sends it back, and she like pushes like a stuffed animal through the door. I'm like, yeah, that's funny, you know. That made me feel good, Joseph.
Yeah.
And I'm like, will my partner someday send me notes while I'm taking a shit? I hope so.
Yeah, that's like kind of goofy relationship you're looking for. You just
I
have
don't
to
know.
stalk a girl on the
It's more that
street
I have a
for
lot
day
of bad shits, and I'd like someone to comfort me during them.
during your bad
Yeah,
shits.
it's more about the pooping than the notes.
That's always an interesting point in your relationship where you're cool with like watching each other poop. It's definitely like
I don't know if I'll be okay with
it,
that.
you say that, but it's always it takes a while, but it's definitely like what's the word? A hallmark. Like it's
A
definitely
hurdle,
like
but once you get past it, eh,
then like nothing is weird after that.
yeah.
Like literally nothing can be weird.
I will
Uh,
say, speaking of pooping, because
Whoa.
our friend Emily, okay, has said we don't talk about pooping enough on this podcast. All right, so I'm giving her what she wants.
Do we need to though?
I just gotta say, I've had some weird poops lately, guys.
I don't.
Dude, is this where we're going right now?
We got 3 minutes left. Let me fucking talk about my shits, okay? Because all of a sudden, Joseph, okay, I'm typically a 1 poop a day guy, okay?
Yeah.
Once in the morning, and I'm done.
Okay.
But lately, it's been like I do a big one in the morning. I think I'm done, but then I gotta come back for round 2 and round 3 later. And it's just
Round
these,
3?
yeah, and it's just these like tiny little fucking guys that are just like hiding at the bottom of my rectum. And I'm like, why didn't you leave when the train left this morning? I'm not coming back to pick up for stragglers.
Have you changed your diet?
No. And it's just fucking. I think it's starting to get back to normal more or less now. But it was fucking weird for a little bit there. It was like 6 days, and it was like
COVID
interrupting my
bags.
schedule. You know.
Yeah.
Because Joseph, I know you're a multiple poop a day guy.
No, I've been pretty standard on 1. That was only that was pre-pandemic. I was 2 a days.
Okay. Because when we lived together, I
But
remember you doing 2 a days.
recently I've been back on the 2 a day. I don't know if it's because I've cut meat out of my diet, so I'm eating a lot more veggies, and
Sure.
like that's kind of disrupting things, or what's up with that. But
Are they equal sized, or is it big
no,
and
the second
small?
one's definitely less, but it's not like it's not insubstantial,
Unsubstantial?
non-substantial.
I don't know.
It's not insignificant. I'll say
There you go.
that.
Okay. Gabe, what about you? You 1 a
Oh
day,
my
2 a
God.
day?
Is this for 118 episodes
People, no
now?
one talks about shitting. Okay, let the
That's
people,
not true, but
let the
okay.
people know.
I mean, I do too. It's always after coffee. It's literally
Oh yeah.
it's the same
Yeah,
time every
you
day.
drink coffee, so
Well,
that impacts it.
yeah, like 8. It's always 8 to 8:15, and the guy cleans the bathroom at 8, so I have to wait. That ooh, I hated that sentence. So I have to wait a little bit. So it's always around that time, and then in the afternoon, depending on what was for lunch, you got to go around 2.
Damn. I just feel like when you do like multiple times a day, you're just spending way too much time in
Okay,
the bathroom.
like coffee. Okay,
Yeah.
when I'm working, I'm cool with it. Like
That's
you
fair.
know,
Somebody else is paying for it.
yeah, like you're paying for me to take a shit. I don't care. But like if I'm, if it's the weekend, it's like, oh man, wasted a little bit of time, more time than I'd
But
like.
but you can very easily like I don't know. When I'm shitting at work, I might spend a little extra time
Yeah,
on the
you go
phone.
on your phone and
Yeah.
Whereas at home, it's like, well, now I'm just gonna go back out and do whatever my thing is.
it's true.
I spend
Continue
way
on.
more time at home. Because like when I'm in lab or at work, I just feel like, oh, I want to get back to what I'm doing, so I can
Yeah.
leave earlier. If I'm at
Mhm.
home, it's like, oh, I got nothing to do. But then I look and it's been like an hour. I'm like, holy fuck, I need to get
I
off this
can be on
goddamn
my
toilet.
phone. I can be on my phone on the toilet or on the couch. What's the difference?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was hoping I'm getting back to 1 a days because like it's just more efficient. Like I just want to get it done as soon as possible, not spend too much time out of the day worrying about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there we go. If you guys didn't like me because I was talking about this episode, guess what? I'm gone next time, baby. So don't
Thank
at
the
me.
Lord.
Yeah, you got it in. That was a shitty way to end the podcast.
Shitty.
Haha.
Very nice.
Haha.
Very nice. Let us know how you shit down in the comments below.
Or not. I don't want to read that.
You know Cece is gonna fucking
Oh, I
give us
know.
details.
If she even listens this far.
I don't know, man.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the EWF podcast. As always, you can find our show on YouTube and podcast services every Monday. Go and follow us on Instagram at EWF podcast. Follow us on Twitch at ewf_podcast. Sorry, I was getting scared. I'm like, I gotta end the stream. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.
See ya.
Peace.